Hello folks, and welcome back to the channel. Together with these great partners, we are able to bring you quality information to help you reach your whitetail habitat goals quicker but more proficiently. Northwoods Whitetails, Plot Doctor Harper Growing Solutions, Scent Thief, Realwood Productions, Ace Hardware of Harrodsburg, Kentucky. So as you know, it's not a secret, we're a huge promoter of the Realwood log trough feeders and the Realwood feeders products in general. We've got the new feeders in here that came in this week, and put them on some cedar posts that I had here just to get them off the ground just a little bit to keep the trays a little cleaner. And we got them set yesterday. Now, as you can tell, there's no feed in them. Last year, or going into this year, Kentucky has a new law that we can't feed until August 1st, which is fine because of this point that we're going to touch on. So something to keep in mind, guys, is this: we're all about keeping pressure low on a farm, right? We're all about trying to enhance that through food plotting and your stand locations and everything like that. But the idea is all of that is for none if you're putting pressure on your farm, right? Feeding can aid to that pressure, just like trail cameras, if you don't treat it right. So one of the things that I started doing, like I said, when I got down here to the farm, I've done this a little bit in the past on other farms, but now being here and really trying to take my own farm to the next level, there's two things that we'll touch on today, guys. One, as you can see, I've got these out ahead of time so the deer can get kind of accustomed to them, right, used to them. Now, I will tell you that last year, or last couple of years that I've been using these, you can put these feeders out. Now, I've doubled them up this year, but you can put these feeders out, and I've had deer on them as quick as 4 hours in brand new locations. Never had a feeder there before, and you will not get that response, guys, on a vertical spin caster. You know, I call it the machine gun spreaders, right? That if you want to try to keep it quiet and not let your neighbors, or not let your neighbors know that you're feeding, man, when those spin caster feeders go off, it's just obnoxious. They just sit here, guys. These Realwood feeders just sit here and they're nice and quiet. So you can get away with it if you put them here early. I like to put them out and like I said, just get the deer trained to them that they're here in the plot. I mean, I have them now. We can service them from the box blinds from afar, 100 yards of that stand, and it's about right in the center of the food plot. You know, we can shoot these with a gun, but we're not hunting over them, so there's no pressure. It's not a shot opportunity other than the guns. You'd be crazy not to be able to cover them with a gun, right, if you can see them. Our early muzzleloader season and modern gun season here in Kentucky, so that's why we have them out here to back the food plots up, obviously, to add to the tonnage and the attraction. But we're not hunting over them, so huge piece of the puzzle, right? Don't pressure them, and like I said, get them out here early, and so that the deer can get used to them. So that's the first thing, right? I highly recommend doing that with any feeder, whether it's Realwood feeders or whatever feeder that you're using. Highly recommend you look into these, but whatever feeder you're using, just make sure you get them out there early. It's no different than kind of a box blind, right? It's no different than just going out and, love the great state of Michigan, but a lot of us are notorious for that, right? Go out and throw a blind up 2 days before the season and expect miracles. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's not the norm though, right? So you want to get this stuff out ahead of time to just let them get accustomed to it. So that's the big piece. This time of the year, guys, we're trying to keep pressure low, but we're also trying to keep stress low, right? So when you put these out here and you just kind of throw them out here, and all of a sudden then there's a bunch of does around them and deer around them, so it can create stress, right? In this time of the year, last thing you want to do is stress those bucks or the does, but I mean stress those bucks when they're finishing off or going into that last phase, if you will, here of that antler development. The last thing you want to do is add a bunch of stress to them. So that's the first thing I do, guys, get them out early. The second step is making sure that you go the extra mile, not placing them out too early. So I'm just as guilty as that as anyone. Now, this new law here in Kentucky doesn't really affect me because I usually don't start. Some years in the past, I guess I've started kind of on that July 4th or something like that when I hang cameras. But most of the time I'm waiting until August 1st or something like that to do the, you know, put the feeders out anyway. So with that being said, guys, is don't put these out until your chore list is complete or darn near complete. So as you can tell, I have these here. There's no corn in them, no attractant in them at all, but I still got a few things to do here on the farm. I just finished up my access today. I've got some shooting lanes to trim at the box blinds. All my other stands are all prepped and hung and trimmed out, and everything is done there except for food plots. So when I go to plant my fall food plots, now the summer food plots are in, but when we go into the next step here and we put these feeders out, you're drawing every deer to the plate. You're inviting everything to the plate, right? And when you do that, you're wanting to not invite them here and then every day you come out here to work, when you have the opportunity, blow them out, right? It's just this, you know, bring them in, blow them out, bring them in, blow them out. Now the summer, they're probably they are a little more forgiving. Right here on the farm is a perfect example. Had bucks right in the front yard this morning, and I was walking out to get the tractor running, and they could care less. They just kind of bounced up on the hill and walked away. I got here out on the farm here today, and there was deer out on the food plot when I drove the tractor out. So they will put up with more of that. It's just not something that you want to do. And the reason for that is it all ties back into that kind of that conditioning them to your food plots and your feeder locations, and then letting that routine start and not breaking that routine that you hear me speak of on the channel that I'm so adamant about. I've seen that go south in on a lot of farms across the entire whitetail range, across the entire country, especially here in Kentucky. I have a few good friends in this area that's happened to, and I, you know, kind of told them what I've started to do, and so they're implementing that in their arsenal as well. So just remember, guys, get them out early so you can get the deer accustomed to them, but don't put the feed into them until you are ready to pull the plug. So just remember, guys, that those two things I wanted to touch on today: getting them out early, getting them accustomed to them. These don't take near as long as the other feeders do, but also not implementing this and not inviting everybody to the plate until your chore lists are done, and then you're just blowing everybody off from here again. I find that the more mature deer, some say that they get used to it, right? And I can honestly tell you, here on the farm, these deer are, in this area in general, the Midwest is notorious for it. The deer do get kind of used to you, I guess you could say. But I'm not a promoter, and I don't believe that deer get accustomed to it and don't care. So there's a fine line there that you have to walk. Guys, I've always told everybody, and I tell my clients this: the worst possible thing that you could do is not set foot on your farm or your leased property or any property at all. Not set foot on that property all year long, and the first time that you set foot on that property is to go to hunt. Now if you're public land or something like that, right, that's different, but go in there, those deer don't know what you are, who you are. The first twig you snap, it's all over. So as private landowners, yeah, we're probably kind of spoiled that way, right? We're able to feed, and we're able to, here in Kentucky, and we're able to, you know, have great food plots, and we're able to do, you know, have 4 acres of standing corn and stuff like that. So not every farm is the same, and I respect that, guys. I know there's a lot of folks out there that are tuning into the channel that don't have that, and I wish everybody could experience that. And you know, like I say, stay whitetail driven, and you will have that opportunity. And if you get a chance to go somewhere out of state or go experience a new location, I highly recommend doing that. But there's a lot to be said for that, guys. Is treat that farm as you need to treat it. Have a summer property, you know, enjoy it with the family, and then when it's time to you know, before them bucks shed that velvet and before their mentality completely switches, you need to make sure that your chore lists are done, feeders are in place, food plots are planted, and then you exit, and then you go into your predator mode, and you're very stealthy about your approach. I've got another video that ties to this on pressure, dealing with trail cameras that we're going to do But this one here is a big one, because you're inviting a lot of attention, and you're inviting a lot of pressure to the farm. You're actually bringing more deer possibly than what your food plots have attracted. So we're going to go in depth here on some of these on the feeder here on one of these videos coming up, guys, and we're really gonna dive deep into some good things coming down the road here that Realwood has, and also that we have. They're a great partner of ours, and if you guys are interested in these feeders and you want to take your feed location or feed game to the next step, I highly recommend these feeders. Now you can see I've doubled up, right? I've doubled up my feeders to reach that 700 pound, 750 pound capacity. They're about 350 pounds a piece is what they are. And as much as I am on the road and the low pressure impact that I try to do on my farm, I just don't want to be in here every 10 days, 8-10 days when they really start eating the corn in the feed. I don't want to be in here that much doing that, right? So trying to keep a low impact footprint and doubling up on these. So I got 700 pounds. I've actually got 3 feed locations, and that's something that we're going to touch on separate video here, guys. But yeah, just take these 2 points to the bank, I guess, if you will, guys. Getting ready. It's kind of hard to believe that we're it's the season's just around the corner. We open up September 1st. So remember these 2 tips, guys. Thanks.